Are you still thinking because you're short, your coats need to be short too? What if I tell you a maxi coat looks the best on you? Hi, my name is Chi, I'm 5'2". This video is gonna change how you look at coats for short women. Let's start with the silhouette, the most important part when you're looking for a coat. Most coats fall into one of these four shapes. The H shape, these go straight up and down. The X shape, these are smaller at your waist. Cocoon coats, these are bigger in the middle. And the A shape, smaller on top, and they flare out at the bottom. If I had to pick only one out of these four, it has to be the X shape. And here's why. Cinching your waist is critical if you're short like me. Here's what's happening. When you're wearing a coat, it covers so much of your body that I can only see the shape of your coat. If your coat defines your waist, that's gonna make the eye assume under that point, that's your legs. So here's the important part. Not only you want your coat to define your waist, you also want your coat to have an elevated waistline, higher than your natural waistline. The H shape, this can also work because the silhouette is simple. It forms a vertical line, especially if your coat is longer. And this is an A-shaped coat. I don't have anything to show you because I have not found any that fits me. I do like this silhouette because it cinches your waist and because it flares out. This is a very forgiving silhouette, as long as the flare is not too wide or too exaggerated. Of all my coats, this is the closest to cocoon shape. This is the least likely to look flattering on someone who is short. The shape of the coat is tapered at the bottom, a little wider in the middle. This shape is not as elongating as the H shape or the X shape. The fit is the number one struggle if you're short. How do you know if your coat fits you properly? Here's what to look for. First things first, you want to make sure the shoulders fit you right. I'm 5'2" and I have narrow shoulders. A lot of petite women, shoulders are narrow. So for me, this is almost always the first criteria. You want to make sure the coat is laid over your natural shoulders. If it's too wide, that's the first thing people are going to notice your coat doesn't fit you properly. The length of your sleeve shouldn't be longer than the first knuckle of your thumb. Struggle that every short girl has. This includes some petite sizes. Almost every petite coat I have bought before, the sleeves are too long. That's a pretty common problem. And to this day, I don't have a solution for this problem. We just have to take them to the tailors. If they're too long, it's very obvious that the coat doesn't fit you right. And two, they're gonna be dragging the attention down. And that is not flattering if you're short. And here's a very important detail that most people are not paying attention to. That is the position of the pockets. If you're short, you don't want the pocket position to be too low because that's only gonna drag attention down and it's not flattering for your proportion. Okay, here's a burning question that every short girl has. If I'm short, should I stay away from long coats? I used to think so, and that's the reason. For the first part of my life, I never had any long coat until probably like 10 years ago. I actually put on a long maxi length coat, and that is the moment I realized, oh my goodness, long coats can be so flattering on someone who's short because they can form that long, unbroken vertical line. That's exactly what you need if you are short. Not every long coat is gonna make you look good. The key is to look for the well-fitted long coats. You do want to make sure it defines your waist. If it doesn't, because the coat is so long, most likely it's gonna make you look overwhelmed by all that fabrics, and they can make you look even shorter. Some X-shaped coats come with a belt. Most of mine are this way. I love belted coats. Such an easy way for you to define your waist. Some coats don't have a belt, but they are fitted at the waist. This can also work pretty well. In fact, if you are the apple body shape, you have a bigger midsection, a coat without belt is probably a better option for you. And here's why. When you wear a belted coat, it does add more fabrics to your midsection. If you do have a tummy, it can make it more obvious. So it's much better if you go with a coat that doesn't have a belt, but it defines your waist. And this is gonna make you look slimmer. When you're looking for coats, you need to first ask yourself, are you gonna wear this with mostly dresses or skirts, or mostly with jeans and pants? This is very important because if your answer is dresses and skirts, then you're just like me. You wanna make sure your coat is covering your dresses and your skirt, or at least most of them. Now, I see this all the time. A lot of people wear this, and sometimes you see bloggers and models wear this. So you might be wondering, well, gee, what's wrong about this? Your body is cut into multiple horizontal lines. This honestly doesn't look flattering on anybody, but if you're short like me, this is only gonna make everything look even worse. On the other hand, if your coat is long enough and it can cover your skirt or your dress completely, and this is gonna give you a much cleaner look, and your proportion is gonna look so much better. I live in New Jersey. We have pretty harsh winters. I always need a puffer coat when the weather gets cold. For puffer coats, you do want to make sure you get them in petite sizes because it's really hard to make alteration. And I don't even know it's possible to make alteration for the puffer coats. Because the puffer coats are so puffy, if they're long, then you want to make sure they're cinched at the waist. Some of my favorite go-to places to get puffer coats, Bauer and Land's End, both make petite sizes. So that's a very good starting point. If your budget is higher, you can also consider investment pieces from Levy. This is one of my favorite designers. They're not petite sizes, but I typically wear their extra small and they fit me just fine. This one, I've had it for over 10 years. I have about 3 coats from them. They are a little pricier, but they are totally worth the investment. Especially if you live in a cold weather like me, you're gonna be wearing this pretty much every day for your commute in the winter. So you're gonna get your money's worth. I also love shorter puffer coats because they're shorter, so they don't make you look bulky compared with the long puffer coats. And these ones are from my website, petitedressing.com. What I love about it is you can roll up the sleeves. We all know sleeves is always a problem, even with petite sizes. The beauty of this coat is you can roll it up, and this just makes the coat look even cuter, actually. Coats are such a big investment. Even if you want to buy something and make alteration, it's gonna cost a lot of money. So I would suggest you get the size fit you right the first time and minimize the alteration you have to do. When I go shopping for my coats, I typically start with the petite size brands. Jcrew is one of my favorites. I have gotten several Jcrew coats, and this one is a famous Lady Day coat. This is actually my second Lady Day coat. The first one was so worn, I had to get a second piece to replace it. The price has gone up some over the years, so wait for a good sale. I also like Banana Republic, and their price is lower than Jcrew, but their fit is just as good, and their fabrics are pretty good too. I've not gotten any long coat from Ann Taylor yet, but in general, I like their tailoring, and their blazers, which is very similar to the coats, fit me pretty well. And this one, the long maxi coat, is from Calvin Klein Petite. Yeah, they make pretty nice petite coats too. I got this one from Macy's, and the fit is really nice. This is like one of my favorite coats. I would not rule out the non-petite brands. The regular sizes, sometimes you can also find some pretty good. This coat is from Club Monaco. It's not petite size, but other than the sleeve is a little longer, everything else fits just fine. And this one from French Connection. If you're short, it's really hard to find a coat to flatter you. And after you find the coat, how do you style them? Believe it or not, layering is harder than most of us think. After all these years of trial and error, I finally figured out some tips and tricks that can instantly improve your proportion when you are layering your coats. Watch this video. These 5 layering tips changed my life, and they will change yours too.